For such a long time, I haven't heard speeches from teachers.
Yeah, I totally agree. They must have some speeches before saying goodbye to us, right?
Of course, yes. But a good thing is that Miss Rachel Rogers, our ESL teacher, is going to come up with an idea of challenges build empathy.
Mrs. Roger, please come to the stage.
And present some of the last speeches of the year.
I remember lying back on my hospital bed, and my eyes were getting heavier and heavier. I was counting backwards from 10 while the anesthesia was doing its work. Instead of imagining sweet, white, fluffy sheep jumping over my head, I was thinking about and recounting what my orthopedic surgeon had told me a few days before. He had explained that there might be a chance, though minor, that through my back surgery, I might become paralyzed. And that is something you do not want to hear ever. Now, let me back up and try to explain where my challenge first started. It was during that extremely awkward stage in life, otherwise known as middle school, which comprises 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in the United States. I was tall and gangly, and I just wanted to fit in, but life had a different plan for me. It was during this time that I was diagnosed with scoliosis, and that is a disorder of the spine which causes it to curve and sometimes form an S shape. Essentially, my spine was trying to spell something. And unfortunately, this disorder causes the person's body to become misaligned and can create a lot of pain and discomfort. And if left unchecked, the rib cage can start to close in around the heart and the other organs. My doctor had recommended to my parents and I that I wear a back brace. Now, this back brace had to be worn 23 hours a day. Let me repeat, 23 hours a day. I could only take it off when showering or playing sports. I remember the first time that I was in the same room with this contraption. And eventually I called it Shelly because it reminded me of a turtle shell. But it also reminded me of a corset. Yeah, remember these guys? You guys are too young. I'm too young too, thank goodness. But women back in the olden days wore these contraptions to make their waists smaller. And I remember when I first put on my brace, the doctor said, "Oh yeah, that sensation of not being able to breathe, that's completely normal, but you will get used to it." Thanks, doctor. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but my back surgery would increase my capacity for empathy, as I would be better able to relate and understand other people's feelings and struggles when they went through something similar to me. See, I feel like I can even relate to this little guy. I understand how you feel. Now, I want you to think to yourself, have you ever had to act differently to feel accepted? I remember when I was wearing my back brace, I had to always sit up perfectly straight and I could never slouch or my back brace would show. I had to learn to breathe differently. I felt confined because I literally was. And I remember when I was wearing my back brace, I had to wear a special tank top underneath the brace that would reduce the chafing or the rubbing on the sides of my waist. And eventually it would get so bad that the sides of my waist would bleed. I also remember when I was in the locker room in middle school getting ready for the gym, I always went into the bathroom stall. I always went into the bathroom stall to change
because I was too embarrassed for someone to see my brace. I was ashamed. I also think through this challenge, I am better able to relate to people that just want to go shopping and buy clothes that fit them, that make them feel good. I remember when I had to wear this brace, I had to wear clothes that were 3 sizes too big to cover my shell. I remember I could never wear clothes that I wanted. I could never wear clothes that were my style, that I felt expressed my personality, and I just didn't feel pretty. And when you're in middle school, you just want to feel pretty. And I felt like I just wanted to be invisible. Thank you. See, this is challenging. Okay. Thank you. However, there's a rainbow at the end of this storm. I think we are only challenged to the degree we can handle. And I didn't just start to grow physically, I also started to grow as a person. I remember that I stopped taking myself so seriously. I remember one time in middle school telling my friends, hey, check out my rock hard abs, and I would hit my rock hard brace. You should have seen their faces. I also remember that when I finally had to have back surgery and 2 titanium rods were put on either side of my spine. Now this isn't an x-ray, my x-ray, because my spine is still a little curved, but these are what the rods in my back look like. I started to call myself Wolverina. Now, the most important thing was when my high school counselor asked me to talk to a girl at my high school who was about to go through the same back surgery that I had to go through. And I was able to give her advice and comfort. A small example was just make sure to put your hair in a braid in the hospital, because 5 days of lying down in a hospital bed will make it so knotty that it will look like a bird's nest. And an impatient nurse trying to comb through it will rip out half of your head or hair. It happened to me. But probably better advice I remember giving her is that she will feel like she can accomplish just about anything. And I should have mentioned, because she will have survived her back being filleted open and long pieces of metal inserted into her body, but I didn't mention that part because I didn't want to scare her. But this was all advice that I wish I had been given beforehand. And I remember when she opened up to me about her struggles with scoliosis and her fear of her upcoming surgery, I remember being able to sincerely say, I know exactly how you feel. And it was then and there that I understood the power of empathy. Now, life is not meant to be, or life is meant to be challenging. It's how we grow. And I'm fully aware that my challenge, to me, which felt like a mountain, could be another person's molehill. Here's a picture of me in the hospital right after my surgery, and it was a tough time. But this challenge that I went through increased my capacity to relate to other people and give support. In conclusion, I want you to focus on a challenge in your life. I want you to focus on a challenge that is pushing you to your limit. If you can't think of one yet, just wait. Challenges have a funny way of always finding you. Though we can't avoid challenges, we can change our perception of them. Now, instead of looking at them like burdens, think of them as opportunities to increase your empathy. In this journey we call life, let's not get fooled into thinking that we have to go through it alone. Thank you for listening.